I had somebody contact me recently about setting up some self-storage sites. They were asking for some advice, in which I don't mind doing. I don't mind giving advice to people when they're trying to get going. And his idea, it was a good idea. He was to have smaller sites dotted around the country, but he was talking about micro sites, maybe 10 containers in each site, which is a good idea, but I think it only works in certain places. I think it works in really busy cities, like places like London, where they might have the supply, but they've also got a massive demand and land prices are high. So I think you could definitely do a place like that. I also think it could work in rural places where there's smaller population but less demand. But you've got to take into account, because this guy was going to rent them, so you've got to take into account, because you're going to rent the land, that the land rent has to be cheap enough where the containers still stack up and make sense, because if the containers are barely covering the rent cost, then it doesn't work, does it? So you need to take that into account. And then the other big issue can be you've got to secure a lot of sites to rent, a lot of contracts in place, a lot of people to deal with, to trust, to make these contracts airtight, where you're going to be able to keep that land, because you don't want to get set up and then get shifted off the land once the landowner sees it start working, so they can put their own on. So you've got to take that into account as well. The more sites, the messier it gets. It can become more of a hassle setting these up. And like I said, and then the cost of the rent as well has to be enough where it makes it worthwhile. So you might be better off trying to secure one site, get everything in place on one site, and make a bigger place, and just have everything, all of your mess, all of your hassle in one place. But like I said, containers, it's more or less a hassle-free business, container rental. When you're renting container storage out, it's very passive, I would say, one of the most passive businesses you can do. So if you are thinking of doing that, definitely get into it, but have a good think and look at the market demand and look at what you can charge in these areas. Is it going to weigh up and stack up enough to make it worthwhile when you're setting up these micro sites? You've got to take that into account seriously.